A week later, we mounted our horses and headed for the monastery. It took quite some time to reach it, since when we arrived at Gerudo Valley, the Gerudos insisted on us stopping to chat. We had an afternoon meal there and then resumed our way towards the monastery. After another short ride, we arrived at the monastery. When we reached the gate, a group of monks was there to greet us. After we dismounted, a monk came and took our horses to the stable. I had no idea they were expecting us, but Link told me later that he had set it up a few days before. We were taken inside a chamber where the head of the monastery was waiting for us. First, we were asked a few questions. Then he explained the steps of the ceremony to us. Then he had two monks bring a bowl with an oily liquid in it. The head monk took his thumb, dipped it in the liquid, and smeared it on our foreheads, while he chanted. Hookah, shaka, hookah, hookah, hookah. Then he said that the ceremony was to be performed outside, but that it was to be performed in the nude. He explained that their beliefs were, everything is born from the earth, and when you die you go back to the earth. And since the ceremony was to be preformed under the witness of Mother Earth, we had to remove our clothes. I shot Link a worried look, but he gave me a reassuring smile, and that made me feel better. After we removed our clothes, we were led to a beautiful garden with an oak tree in the middle. I felt a wave of calm as we walked further into the garden. We were led to the oak tree and told to kneel down in front of each other. After we knelt down facing each other, the head monk said he would explain each step of the rituals as we went. First, 2 goblets were brought to us with liquid in them. Next, one of the monks brought a ruby-hilted dagger and handed it to Link. Then the head monk explained to us that we each had to cut our palms and drop some blood into the goblets in front of us. An uneasy feeling washed over me. Cutting my hand was not one thing I wanted to do, but Link shot me a comforting glance. And I started to calm about it. The monk explained why cutting our palms was necessary. Then I watched as Link took the tip of the dagger and slit the palm of his left hand. Link then clenched his hand into a fist, and the blood slowly dripped into the goblet in front of him. Then Link handed the dagger me. I felt a little scared as I held the dagger in my hand. When I looked back up at Link, he reassured me it was Ark.
It's Ark, honey. It will only hurt for a second. You'll be Ark, my love. I'm here with you.
I looked into his eyes, and a glint of comfort shone in them. I nodded, and then took the dagger and placed the tip of it against the palm of my left hand. I closed my eyes, and I made a wince as the dagger cut my palm. As I looked down at my hand, I saw blood seeping out of the wound. Then I clenched my hand into a fist and let the blood drip into the goblet in front of me. After I did that, one of the monks took the dagger from me. Next, we were told to exchange the goblets and drink from them. Then Link and I exchanged the goblets. Link took a drink from his first, then I took a drink from mine. The strange liquid in the goblets made me feel different. Made me feel connected to Link. The monk then told us to take our hands with the wounds on them and clasp them together. As our hands bonded, our blood meshed together, and a connection between us was felt. I started to feel a little closer to him, started to feel like he was inside me. I closed my eyes, and I heard Link's voice inside my ears, inside my mind, but only faintly. I reached out for him, but nothing was there. I then opened my eyes again. Next, the head monk explained that to strengthen the bond further, we had to drink each other's body fluids.
Precious bodily fluids.
My eyes widened and jaw dropped at the thought of that, but we were reassured that it was perfectly harmless. I looked at Link, and he nodded in agreement. He placed his hand on mine, and a wash of comfort ran over me. I nodded that I was ready, and we were handed 2 small cups and told we had to urinate in it.
I think there's some kind of deviated prevert.
It was hard to do what was requested, but as I did what I had to do, A small feeling of uneasiness tingled inside me. When I sat back down, Link had already finished and placed his cup down in front of him. I then placed mine down in front of me and waited for what to do next. The head monk said a few words. Then we were told to exchange the cups and drink from them. Link went first, and I watched as his face twisted slightly as he drank from the cup. Then I took my cup, slowly lifted to my lips, and crinkled my nose as I drank from it. A sour taste was left behind after I finished. Next, we were told to close our eyes and hold hands. The monk began to chant in an unknown language. As he chanted, I felt a presence around me, something like a spirit, but I was not quite sure. A warm feeling filled inside me, like being next to a fire. Again, I felt at peace, felt a calm. Then I could feel Link again. Felt his body against mine, even though our hands were the only things touching. The feeling made me feel happy inside, made me feel closer to him. I hoped that the feeling would never end. I opened my eyes and the monk had stopped chanting, and he then explained that there were 4 more separate bonding rituals, each to bond us together in every aspect of our being. They were mentally, spiritually, physically, and sexually. Completing each would bond us together in an unbreakable bond. When we were ready, we nodded and were told what the first ritual was. And so one of the most infamous chapters of my inner life comes to a close. Thank you to all of my beloved Patreon supporters, particularly Michael Fattori and Break System BSE, who made this possible. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but thank you to everybody, and have a wonderful weekend.